4 years in the shadows. One breakout season, a career-defining leap. Chaz Lanier's rise has been anything but ordinary. After spending years grinding in near obscurity at North Florida, he exploded onto the scene at Tennessee, proving he wasn't just SEC ready, he was one of the most dangerous scorers in college basketball. A top prize in the 2024 transfer portal, Lanier didn't just live up to the hype. He shattered expectations, leading the Volunteers in their pursuit of a national championship. But how did he go from forgotten to feared? Let's break it all down. The Chaz Lanier that we see today is very different from the one that first stepped onto a court in high school. Having a dad who towered over people at 6'5" and a brother who was 6'6", young Chaz Lanier couldn't understand why he was hovering around the 5'6" mark as a high schooler. Such was the frustration with his diminutive stature that Lanier even considered calling it a day on the sport that was so popular amongst the rest of his family. Thankfully, he did no such thing, and now sees the benefits of starting out on the smaller side of things. Being 5'6" made him an easy pick to play the point guard position, and there is no better position to play if you're hoping to sharpen your skills and understanding of the game. Then, before you knew it, the growth spurt hit, and the development into the all-round package we see today began to take shape. It took until his senior season to earn a regular starting position, aided by the fact his growth spurt had made him a very handy 6'3". With 22.8 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game, Lanier led his team to the state quarterfinals and earned a spot as a finalist for Tennessee's Mr. Basketball. Shooting 56.9% from the floor and 45.3% from deep told the story of a clinical playmaker, but a grand total of 0 offers from college programs made for far less impressive reading. With nobody coming calling, Chaz took himself off to North Florida, where there would be no guarantee of playing time. He would have to earn his spot on the team. As is the case with many hoopers making the step up to the college level, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. The pace of college basketball is a whole different level compared to high school, and Lanier told No Ceilings NBA that he definitely wasn't ready right away. So, he put his head down and got to work. There was just the one start for Lanier as a freshman and 9 appearances off the bench, which yielded a total of 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in 91 minutes played. A good chunk of these came in a rare 23-minute outing against the Stetson Hatters, against whom Lanier notched 11 points and 4 rebounds, finding the mark on an impressive 3 of 4 3-point attempts. This was the first sign of the Lanier that we know and love today. But the North Florida Ospreys were still not willing to let him loose, keeping him in a rotational role all the way through his second and third seasons as well. In both campaigns, Lanier hovered around the 20 minutes, 4.5 points, and 2.5 rebounds per game mark, with him not quite doing enough to play his way into a bigger role. That all changed in 2023-24 though. In his 4th season as a North Florida Osprey, Lanier finally earned his role amongst the starting 5. He was one of 4 Ospreys to play in every single game, comfortably leading the team with 33.3 minutes per game. Lanier had quickly elevated himself from a supporting piece to the main man, and for good reason. His increased playtime yielded a fantastic 19.7 points per game, which almost doubled the next best effort on the team. His elite shooting ability, which made him a standout in high school, had finally returned, with Lanier finding the target on 44% of his 3-point attempts, 51% of his attempts from the field, and 88% of his free throws. He also led the Ospreys with 0.9 steals per game. He thrived as the main man, regularly taking over games and single-handedly keeping his team in touch with superior opposition. Back-to-back 30-plus point games in March against Austin Peay and North Alabama showed that Lanier was a force to be reckoned with, even if those around him couldn't quite help him achieve the wins his performances deserve. It wasn't just his ability to find the bucket from deep that made Lanier such a force though. His handling ability was among the best in the conference, and you bet he knew how to find defenders' weaknesses. He consistently found his spot and made defenders pay, with his impressive footwork and basketball IQ proving that he really had been hard at work during those 3 years as a bench player. By the end of the year, Lanier had smashed his previous best with 19.7 points, which made him an easy pick for the first-team All-ASUN roster. He had officially arrived as a dynamic college playmaker, but a step up in competition was required to help Lanier fully show what he could do and earn the recognition he deserved. For that, there was only one place he fancied. Despite offers from many high-profile programs, Chaz Lanier opted to head back to his hometown and join forces with the Tennessee Volunteers. If you want to show off what you can do, then it doesn't get much better than putting out strong film in the SEC, and that's exactly what Lanier did. Now playing in his home state, Lanier opened his account with a team-high 18 points in his Tennessee debut against Gardner-Webb. The three-point prowess that had treated him so well throughout his career traveled with him to Tennessee, as he landed 4 of his 6 attempts from deep to make him an immediate fan favorite. After Game 2, the Volunteer Sports Illustrated account was already crowning Lanier a superstar, impressed by another strong outing against Louisville in which he posted 19 points in a comprehensive 77-55 win. From that point onwards, it was clear that Lanier was going to be a problem for the rest of the SEC, and a Baja Mar Championship final against Baylor proved a fantastic foundation to show off just how high his ceiling was. Just 10 seconds into the game, Lanier drilled a three-pointer to get things started, and in just 4 minutes, he was on fire, sinking 4 more threes and going a perfect 5 for 5 from beyond the arc to open the game. And it wasn't like Baylor wasn't aware of the threat that Lanier posed. Head coach Scott Drew summed up his frustration perfectly when telling Knox News, "The one guy we said, don't give him an open 3, had 15 points in the first 4 minutes. That's not exactly what you would call a plan coming together." In total, Lanier poured in 25 points against Baylor in the Baja Mar Championship final, proving conclusively that he was as reliable as they come as a shooter, and that he had the all-important clutch gene that any potential NBA player needs. Lanier hit the 25-point mark again a couple of games later against Syracuse to give him his 3rd such outing in 4 games, showcasing a playmaker who was as consistent as he was skillful. There were no two ways about it. The early returns of Lanier in the Vols Orange was as good as anyone could have hoped, and he had more than justified his decision to make the leap to play in the SEC. As Lanier continued to prove himself on a weekly basis, the Volunteers kept churning out wins. It took until January 8th for them to lose their first game, dropping them to 14-1 on the season. Then, 1 week later, Lanier made the headlines for the wrong reasons, being benched by head coach Rick Barnes for turning down a shot to open the second half. Barnes didn't hold back either, saying after the game that his young playmaker was going to have to figure out ways that he can help the team other than simply scoring. Barnes also pointed out that Texas did a great job guarding him, and I thought his teammates did enough to get him separation to be effective, but he's got to learn to get his hips twisted so he can get downhill quicker. The Vols head coach clearly wasn't over the moon with Lanier's performance, but Chaz got back in his good graces soon after and finished out the season strong. By year's end, the Volunteers sat at 28-7, with one of those losses coming against a very talented Florida Gator side in the SEC tournament final. Whilst disappointing not to secure the conference tournament title, it was a very promising campaign from the Vols that set them up for an intriguing run in the NCAA tournament. More importantly for Chaz Lanier though, he had proven himself as a very exciting talent and clearly capable of leading a contender in the toughest conference in college basketball, no doubt garnering the attention of scouts across the NBA. He finished up with a team-leading 17.7 points per game. This included finding the bucket on 40% of his three-point attempts, which ranked 3rd best in the SEC, whilst also slotting home 43.5% of his attempts from the field, which was the 9th best among qualifying players in the conference. For his efforts, Lanier was named the SEC Newcomer of the Year and was slotted onto Sporting News' 3rd-team All-American roster. It's fair to say that Lanier's decision to spend his senior season in his home state paid off big time, and a successful foray into his first taste of March Madness action could see him propel his name into the first-round mix of the 2025 NBA draft. His elite perimeter shooting alone will make him an enticing prospect for scouts across the league, aided by his impressive ability to create opportunities for himself with the ball in hand. He does need to improve a bit from a passing and shot-creating perspective for his teammates, but the clinical ability to find the bucket is undeniable. For Lanier, a selection in the 2nd round seems most likely, but a good run for Tennessee in the 2025 NCAA tournament could bump him considerably higher. After all, scoring points is what wins you basketball games, and this guy can certainly do that. From garnering little attention as a high schooler to becoming a hometown hero as a Volunteer, Chaz Lanier's journey to the top of college basketball has been one hell of a ride. The kid can shoot for fun and is a joy to watch with the ball in hand. It will be truly fascinating to see where the next chapter of his basketball journey takes him. But what do you think the future holds for Lanier? Let us know in the comments.